Missouri lawmakers pass a bill widening eligibility for a tax credit covering one-time child adoption expenses. A local healthcare worker and member of the Navajo Nation volunteers to help hospitals around the country combat COVID-19. A CDC advisory committee discusses the future of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson signs 2 bills into law relating to foster care and adoption and children's safety. This is KOAM News at 5. One of those laws expands a tax credit for child adoption. The other one aims to prevent abuse and neglect in these households. Part of the bills combines data from the Children's Division and the state to keep track of charges of abuse or neglect.
It takes the 2 sets of data that are already out there and combines them, because Children's Division may not know what's going on in their criminal record. They would know what's happened previously, unless, of course, they may have moved to and not know. So if it allows the state's vital statistics, all other types of data other than what the Children's Division has, to be shared with them.
Through sharing these records, when a parent who has already lost a child due to neglect is expecting a child, the department will be alerted, can evaluate the situation with the pregnant mother, and see if there are services that need to be offered to set the family up for success. Checking in with Doug Heddy now. We have some rain chances out there, Doug.
We do. We got some showers across the region last night into the morning hours, but most of the day has been dry for now. But we do have showers and thunderstorms really getting going back across northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern parts of Kansas, and the radar is really going to light up over the next couple hours. Some of these storms are going to be strong, maybe even low-grade severe, and when I say low-grade, I'm talking gusty winds, some small hail. But you can see southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, these thunderstorms are really getting going, especially northeastern Oklahoma, really from Miami stretching southwestward toward Tulsa. But look at all the rain that is going to really get going. I think most of the severe weather stays just south of the region, but we are going to get some strong storms down, and we're also going to get some very heavy amounts of rain. So we're going to break it down for you here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. A local nurse recalls her time in New Mexico fighting the coronavirus when it was ravaging through the Navajo Nation. Nurse practitioner Patricia Ridings is a family nurse practitioner at Pittsburgh who's had her own practice for a year and a half. But in May of last year, she was in Gallup, New Mexico, helping the Navajo Nation fight against the pandemic. With the help of other volunteers with COVID Care Force, she helped bring food, water, and health care to underserved members who oftentimes couldn't get to a hospital for care.
We were really setting up volunteers, but before I left, it was so neat because we really had that first wave of volunteers come. They were begging for nurses. They needed ER doctors. They needed help, boots on the ground everywhere.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about her time in New Mexico and how she feels now that 70% of the Navajo Nation has received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. A federal panel made up of independent health experts says the U.S. should lift the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after meeting for several hours. The vote comes as the Biden administration is taking new steps to fight vaccine hesitancy. Reporter Deborah Alfarone is outside the FDA with more.
The motion carries.
A CDC advisory committee has voted in favor of resuming emergency use of the 1-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine for all Americans 18 years and older.
Lifting the pause on J&J's vaccine is in the best public health interest of the U.S. population.
Pause was initiated last week after 6 reports of rare and severe blood clots. One case resulted in the death of a 45-year-old Virginia woman. During Friday's meeting, panel experts heard about more possible cases, including one Oregon woman in her 50s who died.
Vast majority of patients have a headache. More severely affected patients can have seizures.
FDA officials say they'll continue working with the CDC to monitor the vaccine for more cases and update the guidance as more information comes to light. Vaccine eligibility in the U.S. was expanded to all adults 16 and older. And now the CDC recommends pregnant women get Pfizer or Moderna vaccines after publishing a study in the New England Journal of Medicine.
No safety concerns were observed for people vaccinated in the 3rd trimester or safety concerns for their babies.
Administration health officials are also launching a new social media campaign to combat vaccine hesitancy. pairing doctors and scientists with celebrities and professional athletes. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Silver Spring, Maryland.
After the vote, Johnson & Johnson released a statement saying the committee's recommendation is a, quote, essential step toward continuing urgently needed vaccinations in a safe way for millions of people. The company also said it'll continue to work with health organizations around the world to ensure rare events can be identified early and treated effectively. President Biden is making a push for a green economy on day 2 of his climate summit with world leaders. Throughout the summit, the Biden administration has stressed tackling the climate crisis and creating jobs go hand in hand. Ahead of President Biden's remarks, the Department of Energy announced more than $100 million for new projects aimed at helping workers in hard-hit coal and power plant communities. History was made at the Kennedy Space Center early this morning when 4 astronauts took off with help from a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket for the International Space Station. It's the first time astronauts have launched into outer space in a capsule that has been used before. Republican Caitlyn Jenner said today she'll run for governor of California. Jenner, an Olympic hero, reality TV personality, and a transgender rights activist, describes herself as economically conservative and socially progressive. The sitting governor, Gavin Newsom, a first-term Democrat, faces a likely recall election this year. Just ahead, the search for pain relief.
50 million Americans are battling chronic pain. I'm Elise Preston with the unique way some are getting relief.
And later, the unique new invention to get rid of trash. Researchers at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York have designed a drug that reverses key symptoms of Alzheimer's disease in mice. Doctors say some factors that contribute to Alzheimer's in mice also occur in humans, which gives hope this drug may one day help people with the disease. Pain is among the most common chronic conditions people in the U.S. live with. Well, now a new study looks at just how many Americans are coping. Reporter Elise Preston introduces us to a Boston man who's trying a new technology for relief.
Stairs used to be a challenge for Robert Santolo.
The act of standing or sitting, walking, especially walking up or down inclines, up and down stairs, was very, very painful.
The 63-year-old has lived with pain from his knees to his back for decades. More than 50 million adults experience chronic pain in the U.S., according to new research, with back, hip, knee, and foot pain the most common sources.
The impact that we see on patients suffering from pain range from social disturbances, physical, psychological, and emotional complaints. We see an increase in depression and anxiety.
Dr. Jason Young directs the Pain Management Center at Brigham and Women's Hospital and authored the study, which also finds the most commonly sought out treatments are physical therapy and massage.
Attempts.
Bob tried everything from painkillers to acupuncture. Dr. Young recently implanted a spinal cord stimulator, which creates an electrical field around the nerves and spinal cord.
To try to help change that pathway and decrease the amount of pain that is perceived by the patient.
It's unbelievable, an unbelievable difference.
Bob is grateful to feel better and can now experience something special in September.
You'll be able to walk your daughter down the aisle without pain. That's exciting.
That's exactly right. Looking forward to just walking. I used to walk every single day. I would go out and walk for 3 miles, and I haven't been able to do that in years.
He says he doesn't want to miss out on life anymore. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Study also finds patients miss many more work days, accounting for an estimated $80 billion in lost wages. Scientists in China are developing a blood test that can quickly determine if a person with chest pain is having a heart attack. They believe the test could replace invasive and slower procedures and limit the damage for heart attack patients. And babies who survive meningitis during their first few months of life may need additional special education support as they get older. European doctors say infant survivors are twice as likely to have neurodevelopmental impairments, and 1 in 20 are at risk of developing disabilities as they age. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, a contraption on a mission.
It's collected more than 1 million plastic bottles and captivated thousands of fans. I'm Deborah Alfrone in the Baltimore Harbor with the latest member of the Mr. Trash Wheel family.
Showers and thunderstorms are rapidly developing. We're going to look at that coming up next. Well, at least temperatures quite a bit warmer for us today after we had some showers last night. We did go into the mid, some areas upper 60s for highs, even though we've had the clouds all day long. But it's nice to warm up just a little bit. Most of us are still sitting mainly into the mid 60s. Of course, our temperature is going to drop just a bit as the rain increases, which it is doing across the region, especially on the Oklahoma side. But the clouds getting darker. Currently outside, we are sitting at 66. South winds 10 to 15. Humidity is checking in at 60%. We'll slide back through the 60s into the 50s. Eventually, low to mid 50s for overnight lows tonight. But it's going to rain. It's going to rain pretty much most of the night. You can see we've had the clouds all day long, but look at the rain increasing across northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern parts of Kansas. Showers, thunderstorms. And a few of these may be a little bit on the stronger side. I'm not really expecting any severe weather. If we had anything severe, it'd be very low grade. But we're going to get some very heavy amounts of rain and kind of a loud night at times. Still, southwestern Missouri is dry, but look at the showers, the thunderstorms popping up in northeastern parts of Oklahoma, right along Interstate 44, down through Bonita and also Tulsa. And then on the Kansas side, we have some scattered thunderstorms in our western counties. So these are going to continue to really light up. You can see all this moisture heading toward us. I think the best chances for bigger severe weather stays in southern Oklahoma and also parts of Texas. That's where the big time severe weather is going to be. So thankfully, we don't have to worry about that during the overnight hours tonight. Here's 8 p.m. Showers, thunderstorms across the region. Periods of showers and thunderstorms continue. Here's 11 p.m. moderate to heavy amounts of rain. And then it's mainly just a good old rain by the time we get to about midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then after about 2 o'clock in the morning, the heaviest rain will rotate out of here. We're still going to have scattered showers around into tomorrow morning, but as we work through the day, it will become a nicer day, especially by the time we head into the afternoon. Rainfall amounts, though, a lot of areas are going to pick up an additional inch and a half with all the rain that's going to roll through during the overnight hours tonight. All right, let's go into the daytime hours tomorrow. We have morning showers, but as we get into the afternoon, sunshine pops out, and I think it's going to be a pretty good day. The ground's going to be obviously on the soggy side. 51 to start with rain, 58 by noon, and then sunny skies during the afternoon, high temp right around 65. Tomorrow night, with the moisture on the ground, we could get a little bit of patchy fog. That's going to burn off quickly, so Sunday looks great. Southerly winds return, partly to mostly sunny skies, and most of us should go into the mid 70s for highs on Sunday afternoon. So 65 tomorrow, 75 Sunday, 83 on Monday. Thunderstorms back in on Tuesday and Wednesday. And if we look at our severe threat, we do have a moderate threat next Tuesday. So we got to watch that and then look at our severe threat really creeping back up next weekend, especially on Sunday and Monday, the 2nd and the 3rd. It starts to get real active like it usually does the first week of May.
You and the rest of the weather team will be keeping an eye on it, I know.
Yeah, we'll be busy.
Thanks, Doc. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent right to your phone. Doesn't cost a thing. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up, Boeing once again pulling some 737 MAX jets from service. First, though, we honor a local veteran, Ernest Dunbar, served in the U.S. Army from 1952 to 54. The Hallowell, Kansas native was part of the 31st Mississippi Infantry Division, and we salute Ernest Dunbar, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, more than 100 Boeing aircraft are being grounded again. The Federal Aviation Administration says 106 Boeing 737 MAX jets have been grounded globally due to an electrical problem. Boeing disclosed the issue earlier this month and recommended a temporary removal from service. The airplane maker is working on a fix. According to retail sales tracker Nielsen IQ, disposable diaper prices jumped 8.7% during the year ending April 10th. And diaper makers recently said they're planning additional price hikes. The reason is that diaper makers are paying higher material and shipping costs and coping with supply chain disruptions. Takes just minutes to drink a bottle of water, but a discarded plastic bottle can remain in an ocean for at least 450 years. Reporter Deborah Alfarone takes us to Maryland's Baltimore Harbor, where a team of environmentally minded inventors say they're trying to change the future one waterway and one mind at a time.
This googly-eyed, garbage-grabbing invention is Mr. Trash Wheel. He's the first member of a unique trash-collecting family that keeps this section of the Baltimore Harbor clean. And now the family's growing.
That's correct. We actually have 4 trash wheels here in Baltimore. Mr. Trash Wheel, Professor Trash Wheel, Captain Trash Wheel, and very soon, Gwenda, the Good Wheel of the West, is our brand new trash wheel.
It was his idea to make the trash wheels memorable.
I built the first set of googly eyes in my basement.
But it was John Kellett's idea to make them in the first place. He says he was simply sick of seeing trash.
Every day on my way to work, I'd think about the problem and think about what we could do about it.
Kellett drew up a prototype on a napkin and contacted city leaders.
If we didn't pick it up, it's causing problems not just for weeks or months or even years, it's causing problems for hundreds of years.
And not just in the harbor, rivers worldwide feed into the oceans.
The flow of the river that brings the trash helps turn that wheel.
When the rivers calm, solar power kicks in. These rakes bring the trash closer to the conveyor belt, which then feed it into a dumpster. Since 2014, trash wheels here have collected more than 1 million styrofoam containers and plastic bottles and more than 12 million cigarette butts. The team gets calls each week from cities throughout the country and around the world about replicating the technology.
It makes me giggle, and it's fun, and it's doing good.
I think it's pretty ingenious.
It's also made a huge difference to inspiring people to become part of the solution.
The newest member, Gwenda, is shinier and has more solar panels. With her at work, it's all hands, or googly eyes, on deck. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Baltimore, Maryland.
After the trash is collected, it's taken to be incinerated, which generates electricity for homes and businesses. How about that? A new one-poll survey shows that nearly a third of people say daily chores like laundry have morphed into personal thrills. 44% get their kicks from grocery shopping, and 35% get a rush when filling up their gas tank. But when it comes to a bigger thrill like a vacation, a majority of Americans say they're going to make their next trip the longest of their lives. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from a Missouri state senator about a new law expanding eligibility for a child adoption tax credit. Plus, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has vetoed 2 Republican-backed education bills. And area law enforcement agencies plan to host a drug take-back to help people dispose of unused medications. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, despite what Hollywood movies suggest, new research shows you might be able to outrun a T-Rex. Researchers from the Dutch Naturalists Museum say the giant meat-eating dinosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex most likely traveled just about 3 miles an hour. That's close to the walking speed of humans and horses and half the speed of earlier estimates. Researchers studied the movement of dinosaurs by working with a 3-dimensional computer model of a T-Rex. Kind of interesting, but presumably information you will never have to know, because we hope you will never have to outrun a T-Rex.
Yeah, I would have nightmares about that one.
The weather is going to be rainy tonight, Doug.
It is. Showers, thunderstorms increasing as we speak, so a very wet, kind of a loud night as well, but showers in the morning tomorrow afternoon looks fine.
See you at 6. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.